This video starts off Monday morning in the midst of me trying to get my Malibu ready to go sick week. We've pulled the 421 out and put Tommy's 415 in it, and we're in the middle of reconfiguring the air conditioning. But we've got another car tore apart in the back shop with an engine that needs to go to the machine shop as well. The aluminum 540 big block Chevy out of Billy's Nova suffered from a massive oil leak when he went up for the final round at Cletus McFarland's Christmas tree race down at Bradenton. All right, so I'm gonna take Billy's engine up to the machine shop. While I'm gone, I'm gonna have you work on this AC project. The small hose, 90 straight down, the big one, 45 over, and the dryer's laying down there underneath the table, but I think Mark's gonna get me a different dryer and different connection line. And I think we're gonna put a fill port out here on the compressor.
Okay, like on the line?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can work on this stuff while I'm gone, I'll be back this afternoon. I gotta take this engine up to Bob's, and then I got another trip I gotta make. Now around here, you never know what's gonna happen one day to the next. I just so happened to find out the night before that we're gonna be making a trip down to Kentucky later this afternoon. So I need to hustle if I wanna get this engine up to Bob's. So while we were down at Bradenton running the Christmas tree race with Cletus, we had testing on Friday. Testing went pretty decent, but he never made a full quarter-mile hit until first round on Saturday. He was monitoring oil pressure and everything looked fine. But once he made a full quarter-mile pass on Saturday, first round, the car went 691 at 201. And when he got back, he checked the logs, and it lost a little bit of oil pressure just past the 1,000-foot or eighth mile. So that's definitely a cause for concern. Thankfully, the engine held in there, and he made it to the finals. He had an oil leak of some kind that prevented us from running the final, unfortunately. But this engine was built to handle up to 50 pounds of boost or so, and Billy was only on 27 or 28 pounds. And the reason he was only on that much boost is that the stator could not handle the power he was putting to it with the gear ratio and the tire size that he had on the car. Typically we run a 370 gear ratio and a 275 or a 28-10-5 tire, and for this race he had a 350 gear and 315 radials on it. So the converter and the stator were not living its best life, their best life at all. So he actually turned it down a couple of pounds and picked up ET because the engine wasn't blowing through the converter as bad when he turned the power down. So if we ever do it again, we've got some changes we need to make. We definitely need a chin spoiler and get air out from underneath that car. We definitely gonna need a different stator in the converter, but we're learning. You know, that's the whole point of this deal, is to learn and to do better and get better at what we're doing. And that's the first time we've ever run quarter mile. It's the first time Billy's ever run 690s, and first time ever running 200 miles an hour. So we're learning, you know, we just don't want to tear anything up. So we're going to take this engine up here and let Bob pull it apart, check everything out, make sure everything's okay. I know that Billy did do a compression test on it, and the compression test was all pretty good. But Bob wants to do a leak down on it, check bearings, and just give it a wellness check. Now, when I say it's our first time running quarter mile, what I mean is it's the first time running quarter mile with a car as fast as Billy's Nova. He was going 450s at 162 to the eighth, but that last 2.5 seconds is rough, and given our past history with this engine, we're not taking any chances. How's Uncle Bob today?
Yeah, it's good. Monday, it's Hustle Monday.
Yeah?
Hustle
Well,
Monday.
I brought you something.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, your 200 mile an hour club membership card. Dude, that thing, honestly, the only thing that really limited him, one, air getting underneath the car, and two, the converter wouldn't hold the power. If it had a chin spoiler and it had a different converter, that thing probably could have gone 215 miles an hour or more. Because that engine was built to run like 50 pounds of boost, and he was only on 28 pounds. He tried to go up to 30, and the car actually slowed down because from when it went into high gear, you couldn't even hear it shift. The converter was not living its best life.
I still don't like that motor.
I don't particularly care for it either, but it does run pretty decent. Unfortunately, I don't have time to stay here and help Bob pull this big block apart this afternoon to check main bearings, rod bearings, and hopefully identify what the oil leak was. Bob's also going to be working on getting Mark's 427 fired up on the dyno while I'm gone. So now that we got Billy's engine dropped off at Bob's, I need to drop my truck off at the farm because Buckwheat's going to do some service work on it and get it ready for the end of January when we head back down to sick week. We've been putting a lot of miles on the trucks and trailers, and I think it's time for an oil change on my truck, and I want to have him check the diff and transmission fluid, just service the whole truck, grease everything. So I'm gonna drop it off the farm real quick and pick up a loaner vehicle. Currently, Jeremy's down at my house working on Vicky's Suburban, so thankfully there's a loaner truck available up here at the farm. Jeremy's gonna pull my truck in Dad's shop since all the bays down at our house are full. And I'm gonna borrow Dad's old blue Chevy for the time being. I'll be damned. Fired right up. This old 1980 Scottsdale half-ton pickup is the last vehicle Mom and Dad purchased before Mom died. I guess you could say it was their last impulse buy together. Interestingly enough, it got me back to the house just in time to jump in Billy's truck to go with him and make an impulse buy this afternoon down in Kentucky. What do you got going on here, Frito Bandito?
Headed to go make terrible financial decisions.
Typical. Billy had mentioned to me that he was looking for a daily drivable car like Vicky's El Camino, and he'd made a call to a fella down in Kentucky that had a 72 Nova for sale on Marketplace. Evidently, things escalated quickly because there was a deposit put on the car before I even knew he was going to buy it. The Nova is currently located in Prestonsburg, Kentucky, the home of Kent Rose and the arm drop drags at Combs Airport. And although we didn't realize it when we left the house, we figured out on our way down that today is Kent's birthday. Out of all the days of the year for us to be randomly buying a Nova in Prestonsburg, Kentucky, it's pretty wild we're here today.
We're up here in Prestonsburg, Kentucky.
On Kent Rose's birthday of all days.
Yeah, we didn't know. We're here and we're looking at this 71 Nova.
72.
72.
It's an X code car, so it's 72.
Okay, sorry. 72 Nova.
I know my Novas.
And I've been looking for something for Molly and Wyatt to ride around in. They've been wanting a cruiser, kind of like how Mom has an El Camino to cruise around in. We're looking for something to take down a sick dude and enter it in sick ward and just, enjoy a nice vacation. We want to treat it as a vacation more than a race.
Right.
Just have a good time, go to the beach. And this is a nice car. It's not perfect by any means.
It's a nice driver.
Structurally nice. It looks good. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it shows well. I like this color. I like that it has AC and
factory AC too, and it all works.
Yeah. I even like the white vinyl top. It's kind of cool. It's different. So she really likes it. She wants to have something that she can take Wyatt, get ice cream, or drive to Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about breaking down or getting E85 or stuff like that. Eventually, I'm sure we'll probably put like a 400 in it or something, 500 horsepower, but for now it's just got a 350. Sounds like a truck, and it should be reliable. So
we're buying it without these wheels.
Yeah, I'm not gonna need those.
Although I wasn't very impressed with the 20-inch car flipper special wheels, I was really impressed with how well all the sheet metal lines up on this car. So I found this thing on Facebook and I tagged Junior in it, but he never saw it. And then somehow he got to screwing around on Marketplace and found it after this guy listed it on Marketplace. And then he went to the guy's profile and saw the post and then saw that I tagged him in it. So when he made that comment that he was probably going to come down here and get this thing, he sent the guy a deposit on it. And I thought, well, I seen those wheels. The first thing I did was call Uncle Terry. I said, hey, you better get me some lug nuts for some RC comps, because those wheels ain't staying on it. They're not even going to make it out of the driveway. They're already coming off. We're going to put some rally wheels on it and try and drive it home. I don't know how long we're going to have this nice weather. Typically there's salt on the roads this time of year, but it's rained really hard the last couple of days and washed everything off real nice. So to make sure the car is safe and sound, I'm going to try and drive it home. And I told Billy and Molly that whatever it needs to make it safe, I'll take care of it. And I just really want the kids to have a nice time. I don't want anybody to be struggling or fussing or worrying. It's a pretty solid old car. It's not perfect. It's got some blemishes. It's probably going to need repainted and refinished at some point, but that's all right. It's a nice driver. We don't have to worry about it getting scratched or anything. It ain't no big deal if something happens, but pretty solid old car. Factory air car, factory power steering, factory power brakes. Does have discs on the front. Pretty decent little car. It'd be a nice driver. After we struck the deal on the Nova, we stopped at a filling station to fill it up with fuel and then headed uptown to Billy Ray's restaurant to have dinner with Kent Rose's wife, Gina. I mean, after all, I can't think of a better way to celebrate Kent Rose's birthday. After dinner, I jumped in the Nova, and Billy and I headed back up 23, across the Ohio River, and back home to Ohio. The old Nova made it home without a single problem. However, the mixed-match tires on the old rally wheels are the first problem I plan to address. The engine and transmission in this car run perfectly. We've just got a handful of little things to take care of before this car's ready to hit the road in Florida. And like I said, the very first thing I plan to take care of is the ghetto-looking rally wheels and the mixed-match tires. So the plan for right now is I'm going to run up to House of Pearls where my Nova's at and pull the RC comps off the back of it and bring them home so we can put them on this blue Nova for sick week. I have not yet laid eyes on my 55. They've been working on it up there. It's been painted and they're wet sanding and buffing it now, but I have not yet seen it, so pretty excited. I mean, I've watched the videos of them painting it on YouTube, you know, just like everybody else, but I have not yet really seen the car in person. Before I left the house, I sent a text message up to Paul at House of Pearls to let him know I was coming to get these wheels and I was coming to take a look at my 55. So they were already busy pulling the wheels and tires off my car for me when I pulled in. Now, obviously, I'm pretty excited to see what my wheels look like on Billy's new blue Nova, but I was even more excited to see what the 55 looks like now that they've started wet sanding and buffing. Now, I thought the car looked excellent right out of the booth, but wait till you see what it looks like once Nikki gets done wet sanding and buffing this thing. It's going to look like a sheet of glass. She's already gotten started on the passenger side, but the driver's side's straight out the booth. Dude, you've outdone yourself again.
That's more her.
Well,
but it's pretty nice. My side, it's not buffed yet. That's pretty nice right out of the booth. But yeah, she's putting me to shame a little bit with her wet sanding.
She's the best there is. She's got to be close.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm really close.
She's the hardest.
I'm
This
almost done.
is the hardest job, I personally think, especially like doing it the way that she does it, starting at 1500. It's a not aggressive paper, so
Yeah.
to get this flat, you got to really go at it for a while compared to some people start at like 600 grit, 800 grit, but that's just taking off so much clear, and it's such a deep scratch compared.
She's so
to
patient.
That's really
I
the
don't
main
know why
thing.
I like it. I love it. I love the tedious work of it, sitting and just
Yeah,
doing the
she's
same
always-
thing over and over again. I don't know why I like
She's
it.
always in a good mood on these days. Me, when I did it, I was never in a good mood on these days.
Those were his worst days.
You guys just make an incredible team, like all of you together.
Thank you.
Very special.
I appreciate it.
Very special.
Like
And I think a lot of people can tell that, you know, just watching the videos. Like, you've got to love what you're doing to do this kind of work and to do it this well.
To go to this level, yeah, it definitely takes, like, you have to have it in you to be like, man, I can get
Yeah.
it just a little better, because there's times that, like, when you're so tired, you just want to move on, but
I can't wait to see it all put back together.
me too, man. I'm so excited. I can't wait until the hood's on it, the trunk's on it.
All the chrome.
I almost want you to not come back until.
I almost
it's
don't
done.
want to come back until it's done, honestly. I was just thinking about that today. I'm like,
I'm gonna sit this right in front of the door. When you get here, we'll open the door and you can just see it, and it's all glory.
That's part of the, like, cool process, is you being able to be here and, like,
see how much.
For the
Come
family.
together.
The rest of the
Yeah.
family, when they get here, and your
Yes.
dad, when he sees it, that's
Oh,
like that's
yeah.
gonna be the coolest day. I'm
I
so
agree.
excited.
I
for that.
agree with that, because your dad hasn't seen it since
He
it
hasn't
was on
seen
the
it
lift.
since it was on the lift and
Yeah,
the
it
floor
wasn't
cut
even
out
back
of it and
on the
everything.
yeah, it wasn't even
Yeah.
back on the frame yet. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you guys.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to head home and see if my lug nuts showed up for these wheels. This may have all been for nothing. I don't know. That's how it goes for me.
The lug nut challenge today.
Yeah, the lug nut challenge. I ordered lug nuts from Jegs, and if they don't come in, then all this running around trying to get wheels off is all for nothing.
Yeah, true. Do they need a deep well 12 point? You probably got it at your shop.
I've got them at my shop, but
I would like to say Happy New Year to everyone.
Yes.
And thank you so much for all the support that you've given us.
dude,
this
the
year. It's
comments in
been-
your videos are just
It's
amazing.
been amazing.
Yeah.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Seriously, you make us feel so good about just like doing this every day and being here, and
Yeah.
it's all worth it when we get to share our work with you guys and you all enjoy it.
It helps, doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah, for
It
sure.
really does.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you can get beat down pretty hard,
Yeah.
Very easily.
very easily.
Yeah.
Burn out. Just, I mean, doing the same thing over and over again. But it's been good. We appreciate you guys. So thanks.
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, Tony and Tess are here. Billy's out here. Mr. Pookie's out here. We're all just kind of hanging out, working in the shop. And we got a little reveal for you. The Nova is no longer looking like Beverly Hills Cop Axel Foley ride. Look at this. Oh my God, that looks gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Oh. Really? Rolling ghetto on the old rallies with mud on them? Dude, did I tell you those wheels were going to set this thing off, or did I tell you?
Oh, I know. It looks fast now.
Oh my God, that looks gorgeous. All right, everybody, welcome back. So I think things are going to start getting back to normal a little bit now. Got the Blue Nova here. We've got a little bit of work to do on the wheels and tire situation on the back, because the quarter lips on the back of that car are stock. They've never been rolled, or they've never been trimmed. And I moved the car in and out of the shop earlier today, and I noticed that I could hear the right rear just barely scuffing on the quarter panel, I think. So we need to look at that and probably trim the quarter lips on that car just a little bit to fit that 275 60/15 tire. I know a lot of people are going to ask. I'm just going to tell you right now, the rear wheels are 15x8s with a 5.5 inch offset, or a 5.5 inch backspace. That's the wheel dimension I've always used on my Nova, because it has stock wheel tubs, stock quarter panels. Now on my car, the shocks have been moved inboard, but really when you set the car at the proper ride height, like that Blue Nova sits and like my red Nova sits, the shocks really don't give too much trouble, although the lower shock mounting position, or the shock bracket, can cause trouble, but on that car they didn't. So we did have to use a 1/4 inch spacer on the driver's side to shim the rear wheel away from the inner fender. And so when you do this, when you're trying to fit a wheel and tire that tight in a car like a Nova or a Malibu, if you're ordering wheels, always make sure that you order an assortment of wheel spacers, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 1/2 inch. It's always a good idea to have some different thicknesses of wheel spacers, because it's inevitable that you're going to need them sooner or later. You know, obviously you can't shim the wheel out away from the inner fender if the wheel's already got so much offset that it's already into the quarter panel. So I always try to order my wheels so that they're offset a little tight on the inside, because I can shim them out, but there's nothing you can do with a wheel once it's already offset to the outside so far that it's in the quarter panel, other than trim the quarter panel or cut the quarter panel out or order different wheels or narrow the housing, you know what I mean? So that's just something to keep in mind, guys. Always try to err towards the inside, rub on the inside. If you're going to err on a measurement, try to sink the wheel in as close as you can to the frame, because you can space that out. But the other way, you're in deep shit. You don't have any way to deal with that other than spend a lot of money. In other news, we're just about ready to get back on the Malibu tomorrow. My remote mount reservoir for the power steering showed up from CVF. Really nice piece. Comes with really nice instructions with pictures. That's really important for guys like us. So we're going to work on that tomorrow. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Billy just TIG weld the bracket for this reservoir to the side of my standalone fuel cell, because that's really the only place I've got to mount it, and I don't want to drill holes. I'd rather just have it TIG welded to the outside. And so I think Billy's probably going to do that for me tomorrow. In other news, we also got that relay box. Really excited about that, because now I can deal with this wiring nightmare over here on the inner fender and clean all that crap up. That came in today, or someday, I don't know, probably yesterday, I would imagine that came in. And we've got the AC lines made, and we've got the switch up on the dryer or the accumulator, whatever you call it. And so I can wire all that up. Maybe tomorrow I can get to work on that. And Bob's got Billy's engine apart up here at the machine shop. Checked it all out. I think Billy's going to go up there and visit with him tomorrow and take some video and explain what all they found in that engine. So be looking forward to that on Street Racing Channel. Billy's going to go up here tomorrow and film at the machine shop. Let's see, what else is going on around here? I know I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah, I know what I was forgetting. I bought this new Innovate air-fuel ratio monitor, and it also tells you what the ethanol content is of your fuel. It's got this little inline sensor, and I bought fittings from Jegs that adapt this newfangled fuel line bullshit to 6AN or whatever, AN fittings. So we're going to work on that, probably get that put in the car this week, I hope, because the weather's really getting nasty. It's getting really, really, really cold, and they're talking about a pretty nasty snowstorm coming up here. So I would imagine you're probably going to start seeing some shop video and dyno video. I know we're going to dyno Marks 427. I actually stopped up there, when was it? Yesterday. After I left the body shop, I did run up to Bob's, and we did fire up Marks 427 on the dyno. Got to hear it run. It sounds really good. I took a few minutes to help dial the carburetors in a little bit on the dyno. I'm not sure that I've got them exactly where I want them yet. I really need to just take time to go through and check all of the idle mixture screws to make sure they're all the same number of turns out. I'm not sure that they're where they need to be yet. I didn't have a whole lot of time while I was up there, so we just did fire it up, and we've been putting some heat cycles on it to seat the rings, but God, it sounds really good. I sent a video to Mark. He's really happy with it, or at least the way it sounds. So I'm excited to see what that 427 makes on the dyno. That's going to be really cool. So anyway, that's about it, guys. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I really appreciate everybody. I hope everybody has had a good Christmas, and hopefully you're having a happy New Year. My prayers go out to all the families affected in the terror attack down in New Orleans. And I think that there was another one in Las Vegas. I don't know all the details. I haven't really had time to sit down and study all that out, but I know there's been some people terribly, terribly hurt, and there's been some people killed due to these no good that I don't know what the hell their deal is, but I'm sure sick of seeing it on the news. I'm sure sick of hearing about it, and I don't know. I don't understand why people have to do stupid shit like that. I just don't know what obsesses people to the point where they want to kill other people and hurt people. Very sad. But if you're affected by that, just know that I'm praying for you. I'm so sorry, because we're usually down there for New Year's in New Orleans, and we could have possibly been there. You know, it's hard to tell what you would have done had you been there, but typically we go to New Orleans every year and do the Pad Wars street race down there. And, you know, this year the takeover idiots have screwed everything up down there, and the spot's too hot, so they canceled it for this year. But anyway, if you're down there, we miss you guys in New Orleans. It's a tradition that we've been doing for quite a few years, and we really have always enjoyed it. And we miss everybody down there, and I hope everybody's okay. Well, you guys are outie.
We're out.
You're headed to Texas.
It's too cold here.
To warmer weather.
Horrible.
Tess freezes to death. She's got a real low thermostat or something.
I need to be between 72 and 82 at all times.
At all times.
At all times. This is not in my threshold. It's
How
horrible.
cold is it outside?
It's like negative 500. up
No,
there.
it's not.
My hair
I don't know.
froze.
Like I turned on the excursion and it says a temperature, and it just says freezing.
Oh, so it's below
And I couldn't
32.
roll down my windows.
Well, yeah. It rained, so everything froze because it's wet. Now it's below freezing, so it froze, just like Tess.
And here I got shorts on.
And I got shorts on. I ain't got no damn long ass California socks on or nothing.
Long johns.
That's his traveling compression software.
Keep all my stuff in.
He's got bad blood flow in there.
All right, so you guys are headed out of here. You're going to Texas. Be careful down there. There's a bunch of bullshit going on. I don't know what the hell's happening, but
There's always bullshit in Texas.
yeah, well.
Going to the race.
Huh?
So hopefully it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna whoop
King
on
of the
everybody.
river.
And you're taking the white car with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to go down there and bust it in Texas, and then haul it home to California and
Yeah.
fix it again.
Fix it again. So get it out of your life for at least 3-4 months right now. Till we
All
come
right,
back
well,
for
bring
sure.
it back bulletproof.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's not going to be Tony proof. I know
There's
that.
two different things.
The
Tony
bulletproof and Tony proof.
Yeah, bulletproof is not Tony proof.
That's what Richard Guido says.
Yeah.
He's like, Tony driving a stick car is like this meme he's got of this guy hitting the freaking ground with a big mallet, and it just explodes everything around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me. I'm pretty hard on parts.
I guess. All right, I'll let you guys get out of here.
All right.
Bye.
Good seeing you.